you doing? This is Mitch from Hard Intentions, and I got a couple guests on with us tonight. Actually, we're all going to be guests on each other's channels. This is our Father's Day special with the incredible Whack, who has Against the Grain, and Death I Bring, who's gets us all started in this business of YouTube videos on Lockdown 23-1. So we want to welcome all you guys, and I want to thank both you guys for coming on with me. And
Thank you,
how you guys
friend.
doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Whack?
Oh, it's another one like the other one, man. What's good with y'all?
Cool.
Good. Yeah, man. Everything's good, man. Just trying to survive in these crazy days, you know?
Man, it's getting worse day by day, it seems.
I got to get used to this 3-person panel, man.
Yeah, this is a unique thing. Well, you know, it's Father's Day coming up, man, and you know, I got excuse me, I got a wild dog here that
Yeah.
bring her over here. I got a wild dog. It's she's a savage. She's a killer. You've all met Rosie.
Oh, Rosie girl.
She's the latest addition. She's a savage. She's a cat attacker.
Yeah.
You all right? So, you
Yeah,
know, it's Father's Day coming up, man, and I think that we should talk a little bit about, you know, we've all been in prison. We've all got families, and, you know, we could talk about, you know, what it was like to be in prison, having families, and what it meant to us and our families on the street, and, you know, how we feel about things now. And so, you know, hey, Josh, when you were in prison, did you have a wife and kids while you were in prison, or?
My second time. Yeah, my second go round.
All right.
First go round was just my parents with me, you know what I mean, and
Right,
my
right.
brothers and stuff. But yeah, the second one was probably the hardest, simply because my wife and kids were out there in the streets. Hey, honestly, man, I just made a post on my channel. That's what the hell kept me out, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what ultimately, you know, kept me out, man, was having kids, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
having a wife. It's crazy, man. You never think I'll never forget it too. I hate to jump straight into some drama stuff, soap opera, but damn, I'll never forget it. The first time I got locked back up and was going to prison, it was over a DUI. That's what I got arrested for that night. But I knew I was going back to prison, man. And when I got their pictures in the mail, dude, that was heartbreaking. I didn't think I was gonna cry when I saw them. I didn't think I was gonna cry, man. But damn, I waited till them lights went out in the cell block, and I cried underneath that fire-resistant blanket for about an hour, man. Looking at those pictures.
And so, hey, Whack, like, I don't know. I don't think you had kids or anything yet, did you?
Nah. So,
But you had your dad and stuff out there, right?
right, I have my pops and my stepmom and my grandmother and my aunts and my uncles. And I was pretty, as far as like family goes, I was pretty lucky as far as like not having any deaths in the family as a kid, other than my grandfather, I think, passed away when I was like 5. But after that, I mean, everybody pretty much, you know, was alive through me going to prison. And then like 6 months before I paroled, my uncle passed away, my father's brother. And that seemed like that just started a chain reaction, bro. So,
Yeah.
but I was, you know, I had my dad and them, and, you know, me and my dad, like I mentioned in our interview, and, you know, in Death's interview, you know, me and my dad, I love my dad to death, man, you know, and he was a stand-up dude, and he's the one that I got my, the way I think and all that, to be straightforward and say what you mean and mean what you say, and all that.
Yeah.
We had our tough times, but and he didn't come, and he didn't come visit me them 7 years. He told, like I said in the story, is, you know, he told me in camp, man, he said, you go back to jail, I'm not coming to visit you. I don't care if you get life or whatever, but he stuck by that code, you know.
Yeah,
So
I remember you.
hard, man.
I remember you telling me that when I talked to you, and so, you know, what was that like? I mean, you know, you got your dad out there. I know he was a hard ass kind of guy and all that. He's a veteran, and but having him stick to that and not come see you or any of that kind of stuff, how did that affect you when you were in prison? You know.
You know what? I didn't really think about it like that in prison because I had too much going on, right? And I was stuck in the moment. but I think when I got out and then he passed away, I went back and did a 10-month violation. And then he passed away like 5 months after I got out from my last violation.
Right.
And so I think after he passed away, then I started feeling some type of way. I started feeling like a little bit of like I was robbed of time with my dad. And I'd look at my sisters and be like, man, you guys used to, you guys would do this or that or wouldn't come see him. And they'd get little arguments with my dad and they wouldn't go see him and stuff like that. And I'm sitting there thinking like, man, I did 7 years and then I did another 10-month violation where I couldn't see my dad,
Yeah.
And the last couple of months of his life, man, I tried to be at his house every single day, you know what I mean? Just to spend time with him. And my dad was never affectionate, man. He never like hugs or kisses or I love yous, not too many of them, but I made it a point that when I got out, every time I went over there, man, I'd give him a hug, and I'd tell him, Dad, I love you, and I hold on to them memories,
Yeah, I think that's very important, man. That's showing love. Like, a lot of parents probably don't recognize how much that means to a kid, man. Just a couple hugs and I love yous, man. That shit means a lot.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't imagine a parent that didn't do that, I think about that all the time.
Yeah, I didn't get a lot of that when I was a kid, man. My real dad split when I was about a year and a half old, and I was raised with my stepdad. And, my whole life, he was an asshole. He split when I was about 12, but, he was a hard motherfucker, and he used to smack me around, beat me here and there, and, for different shit. And he was a hard dude. He was a Korean War vet, and he was he was a roofer. He started roofing houses when he was 16 years old. And I think he grew up in Fresno, which is kind of a rough town. And I never considered him my dad, but he was my dad. He's who raised me, but I hated him, and then when my mom and dad were breaking up, I remember they were splitting up, he was going to go his way, and he started crying, and he was like, I've always considered myself to be your dad, and he was drunk, but he was crying, and yeah, it was rough, so there was a little bit of heart there in the end, but I think he just didn't know how to deal with and my mom was not the easiest person to deal with, so I think he was older than my mom, so I think he married her thinking, hey, I'm gonna have this young chick, and yeah, she's got a kid, but once he got in it, I think it was kind of hard for him to figure out how to live in that moment with some, and then, he probably started hating on my mom, and then, so that was kind of hard for him to figure that situation out, but in the end, and he actually wrote me when I was in prison, and, a couple times, and I thought, wow, it was cool, but
that means a lot, man, believe it or not.
Yeah. So it just kind of validated his statement there when they were breaking up, like, hey, I always thought, I was your dad. And,
yeah.
Showed a little.
It's kind of sad, man.
Me. When I was in prison, those letters showed a little concern, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like Josh said, that them people don't understand how much a piece of paper in an envelope can mean to somebody,
Yeah.
And I got a question for both you guys. Why do you think it's hard for some men to show affection? Do you think it's an ego thing? Do you think it's or we just don't know how as men to be emotionally attached? What do you guys think?
Handle that one first, Josh?
I think, I'll take that one, man. I think there's probably two main reasons why a man won't show affection like that. I think it's either his upbringing stuck with him, or, there's probably other options as well, but some guys, they just don't really care about their kids. You know what I mean? Sad to say. And that's one thing I've never really truly understood, how the hell that could happen, but, or they're just, maybe they've been hurt a lot throughout time, man. They, had their heart broken with women or whatever the case is. It's just hard for them to show affection, or they've been locked up for, God, 38 years or something. Who knows, you know? So that could,
Yeah.
there's a lot of factors at play, but let's say you take all that away. I mean, it really boils down to two things, really, you know, how you were raised and, you know, how much you truly love your child, you know,
Yeah, I
if you're
think,
selfish or not.
I think it's a learned behavior, you know?
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
You know, like in my situation, I live in a family where, you know, I'm an only child, so I see the interaction between my mom and dad is not very healthy. They both drank, they argued, fought. I got the shit beat out of me pretty regular. I got yelled at a lot by moms, you know, shit beat out of me by pops. And then I see their interaction together is not too swell. So I kind of learn, you know, to kind of put up that facade, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, like, and you know, when you're young, when I was young, I wanted that love and affection, especially from my dad. You know, I'd be out there mowing the lawn or doing my shit. Like, hey, you know, I clean the garage and I'd go to work with him, man. He was a roofer, and I'd roof the back of the house with shakes and you know, you're young, you're craving that affection from your dad, and you don't get it. You get a cold shoulder or a smart ass remark or an ass whooping. So you kind of learn like, yeah, you know, so it's a learned behavior, you know, and it's something that's hard to get past as an adult, you know.
Yeah.
I'd have to second that because I feel that, and of course what you said, Josh, is right on point too. I'm gonna second what you say, Mitch, as far as it's a learned behavior, because I really think that some people just don't know how to reciprocate the feeling of love, the emotion of love. They just, whether they're so wrapped up into their own world or they just don't know how to, they don't have the mental or the emotional capacity to do that.
Yeah,
And that's bad, you know what I mean? But it's reality.
it's emotional intelligence, you know. They don't have it. It's just very low, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like hoping someone has common sense nowadays.
Yeah, that's
It's hard to come by, ain't it? You know what I mean?
And
But,
you know, I've seen guys that really genuinely don't really, like you say, they don't love their kids, and that's something I can't figure out for the life of me, man.
it has to be, you know, what you said. You know, a learned thing as well. You know what I mean? They learned it from what happened with them, maybe. You know what I mean? But
yeah. I mean,
but then again, some people are just selfish too, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think a lot of guys when they have kids, it's like it fucks their program up because now, you know, they want to run around and gang bang or dope it up, party, you know, hang out with the homies, and all of a sudden they got a kid, they got responsibility, and it's like, a kid fucks their program up and they get kind of resentful, maybe. I don't know.
Hey, that's a good topic, man. Let me ask you that. Let me ask y'all that. Is it possible to be full-fledged in that, or I don't, you know, y'all have your own walks of life, but let's say just if you were to put yourself in that person's shoes or something, is it possible to live an active gang life and be a 100% great father at the same time?
What do you think, Wack?
I mean,
that's a touchy subject, man.
I'm gonna say personal.
When I say active, I'm talking about in the streets too. You know what I mean? Not you know, retired, whatever. You know.
I'm gonna say that. I mean, I've seen it. You know, I hate to say, it's embarrassing to say, but like I used to bring a lot of the homies around. You know what I mean? My daughter, you know, when she was young.
Yeah.
You know, come over to the house and whatever, you know, and she'd probably see some items that weren't, you know, that a normal person, if you weren't living in the 1800s with John Wayne,
yeah,
people don't carry them things, you know what I mean? But I mean, and it's embarrassing to me now because I was so invested emotionally and physically in the street life that I wasn't thinking about. In my mind back then, the argument that I played with myself was, I'm here physically with her. I love her. I put her to bed every night. She has food on her back. She has, food on her back. She has clothes on her back. She has food in her stomach. You know what I mean? I go to work, I take care of her. You know, there's, you know, nothing wrong. But at the same time, I'm bringing my street life home sometimes, as far as just the traffic in and out of my house, the homies in and out of my house. I mean, her second birthday, real quick story, her second birthday, we got her a jumper and we barbecued and all that, and we did it at our pad. But there was more gang members at her birthday party than there was little kids.
Yeah, but here's
That's
a
wild.
question. When they were at your house for a birthday party or other stuff like that, I mean, were they talking about, you know, gang banging shit and all
No,
that, or were they just being respectful, like family respectful?
yeah, no. I mean, there weren't people like pulling out guns on each other and talking about this, that, or the other. No. And see, that goes into, and I'm going into left field and I shouldn't, but that goes into the gang turning into a family, to whereas now everybody that comes, they bring their wife or they bring their kids,
Yeah.
and our kids know their kids, and
Right.
my wife knows their wife,
Sure.
and because we all live in this community. So to us, it's not a gang thing, it's a family thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But if the police pulled up, half of the dudes, we're all going to jail because we're on parole.
Yeah.
And we can't be with hanging out with other gang members, you know?
I can
And
say,
so,
you know, the motorcycle club thing is kind of like that. You know, everybody knows everybody's wife and kids and all that kind of stuff.
sure.
And you know, I know a guy. He was a hang around prospect kind of guy when I was on the street, and he's been in a motorcycle club for, you know, what was that, 79? So, you know, over 40
Oh.
years. And, you know, he told me stories. I ran across him in the pen, you know, and he's like, yeah, you know, he has a son, and his son's in the motorcycle club now, but he's originally from New York. And he told me stories about riding out to New York from San Diego with his son, you know, as a passenger on the bike. And I think his son was
Wow.
like 12 or 13. And he's, you know, holding on to dad, you know, he's riding across country on his motorcycle. And, you know, you know, Mikey passed out holding on to his dad. You know, he was sleeping, you know, riding across country on his bike. And, you know, he loved it, man. And I can tell you that, you know, Mikey's been to the pen, you know, but he's a good kid. He's a good young man. But I met him in the visiting room when he was in his teens, and he was respectful, smart. You know, he's a good dude. He's grown up to be a decent guy. So, you know, I mean, it's you know, not everybody's gonna be a college grad. You know, I mean, it's kind of a, I don't know, you know. Other guys, you know, maybe they can't do it and give their kid the attention they need to grow up to be a decent human being. If the end result is, you know, I was involved with this lifestyle, but my kid, whether it's grows up to be a young man or young woman, is smart, fairly educated, and a decent person, you know, is it okay to live a certain way and have kids and be a decent father, you know?
Yeah. You know, there was a situation when I got out of prison that really tested me, you know, because I got out of prison the second time and I had my kids. I told myself I'm never going back, man. And there was always this thing, even when I got out of prison the first time, I told myself I wasn't going back, you know, so I stopped doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I know that you can't have it full force. So I tried stopping a lot of stuff. Stopped armed robberies. I stopped, you know, doing a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? I stopped a lot of stuff, you know, stealing, all that stuff. So I turned and I had to stop weed. You know, I had to stop weed because I'm on probation. So I turned to minor things, you know, going to the club still, even though, you know, I'm still trying to get going with my wife. But, you know, just little crimes that wouldn't give me a lot of time, but I felt like I'm not doing nothing major. I'll be all right, you know, but it doesn't work like that. It's like I could never be half and half, you know? And then it was just training me. After the release of my prison stay the first time, it was just training me over month, year. Slowly but surely, I realized, man, I can't be half in and half out. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Even if I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing, feeding my kids, tucking them in, loving them, but still, and then this is where my story comes into play. Coming out of prison my second time, a family member of mine had a huge lick. And it took probably a good day and a half to say no, you know, but I said no. And usually I would never say no to him calling me saying he's got a deal, you know what I mean? Because I know it's legit going to be a success, but I said no. And that was my first step towards, you know what, this is definitely a new life, you know what I mean? But man, it's a work in progress. And I think everyone should know, man, you know, even if you're in a gang life or not, you're gonna see sooner or later, man. You can't have one foot in, 1 foot out. You know what I mean? It's gonna bite you in your ass, I think.
Yeah. You know, like motorcycle clubs. You know, you know, we don't really consider them gangs, but I mean, you know, the bottom line is a lot of guys that are in motorcycle clubs. You know, they try to lump it all into like criminal organization, but really,
yes,
a lot of them guys. You know, and guys that are just bikers in general, they don't commit crimes. They might smoke a little weed, drink, party, have a good time, but I mean, they got jobs, they got families, they got houses, they pay taxes, and they don't commit crimes. Some of their brothers or some of their friends might, and it's a totally separate deal. You know, they get together, ride motorcycles, and go places and party, and you know, if one of their buddies has committed a crime, maybe they'll help them bail out or get a lawyer. But I mean, you know, it's just, so here's the deal. Can you have a group of friends who are gang members or motorcycle club members and not get involved with criminal activity and just maintain a friendship with them guys without it affecting your family? That's another question, you know?
Anything's possible, you know,
what do you think, Wack?
I mean, what do you do? Like, I mean, if you grew up around a certain group of people, and you changed your life, you're not out there like you said, like Josh said, doing robberies or you know selling dope might have been your thing or whatever your thing, boosting shit or what, you know, whatever was your thing, and you're not doing that anymore. You got a 9-to-5. You're providing for your family. You're not in the streets other than, you know, but you still interact with the people you grew up with. Now, some of them characters might be shady, but that doesn't mean that you're going with them to do shady shit.
Yeah.
Do you think your homeboys look at you softer for like that, man? You know, like I think that's the main reason why we don't want to leave it all behind, you know?
I don't think so. Like I know homies like that I grew up. I mean, they got 9-to-5s now, bro. They're doing their thing, you know, and they'll still, you know, I mean, they'll still pull up and hang out and drink a beer and you know what I mean, and do all that. But we're not doing shit that we were doing at 40. We're not doing what we were doing at 15, hanging out on the block, gangbanging, bro.
Yeah.
But to the police and to the outside people that have never experienced that, living in that environment, they think that gang member or gangs, it's all gunshots and stabbings and all that. And it's like, it don't happen like that.
Like literally 24-hour, you know, Al Capone, you know, it's 24/7. It's not really like that.
Hey, I real quick story. One night, this was probably about 5 years ago, when I was still down there in San Diego, and we were on the block one night. It was mostly older, like my age, and there was a couple little homies out there that were younger, but it was mostly older. And we were out there, we were drinking. We were like, "Fuck it, we started out at the bar, and then somebody got the grand idea, hey, let's go to the block. Let's go hang out on the block. All right, fuck it, you know what I mean? Let's go." So we're down there, we're drinking 40s out there, and a couple of the young homies, and then the police pull up. I'm like, oh man, and the dude shined his light, and he was like, the cop was like, oh shit, we got the Linda Vista Crips in the house. And we were like, what's up, man? And he was like, hey, you guys good? And we're like, yeah, we're just out here reminiscing, man. He was like, all right, you guys be safe. And he took off, bro. He didn't fuck with us. Yeah. Because he knew that he wasn't getting no calls about us. We weren't out there shooting off guns and we were just hanging out.
You know? Yeah.
Well, when I think of stuff, I'm thinking of the aspect of, you know, them damn knuckleheads. You know what I mean? The knuckleheads that want to try to lure you in to do stupid shit. That's ones I'm thinking about.
Yeah,
say no,
can
bro.
you surround yourself with those guys? Do you think?
yeah, I've got. I'm live quite a long ways away from San Diego now, but I've had homeboys get at me on Instagram and Facebook and shit and tell me, "Hey, brother, we're proud of you. Fucking keep on pushing on." And so I mean, I don't think people lose respect for you. Like if you I know guys I grew up with. They hit a good lick, good job, made a career. People are like, man, hey, you hear about so and so, man? They own a house over here and they got a business, or they're working for some company, and people are like, hell yeah, it's good shit, And so I don't think there's a lack of respect if you change your source of income from illegal activity to legal. I think a lot of guys respect that, especially for me, the criminal activity is about money. And sometimes the money part leads you to where you have to be involved with violence. So if you can make money legally, like through artwork, t-shirts, or a job, or combine all that stuff together like I'm doing, people respect it, I think,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because you're getting your lick on.
I've noticed positivity brings a lot of respect, my friend,
Yeah, and more to answer what you were saying, like, can you be around them type of dudes that are still knee deep in that life? I mean, I think I think that in life, people separate themselves just by what they do. I mean, you're not going to have a group of people that hit licks hanging out with a dude that's got a 9-to-5 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, they might cross paths here and there. We might cross paths at like the little function at the park. Somebody might be throwing a birthday party for their kid or something, and we end up going to the rec and hanging out and throwing a barbecue, and you got these dudes that's what they do still, you know what I mean? But that's the only time you're really crossing paths with them. So it's not like, it's not like you're gonna hang out with them every day, because that's not your get down no more. You know what I mean? You got your get down. You work, you take care of your kids. You ain't got time for the riffraff. And I'm not putting down the dudes that eat like that. Hey, get yours, homie. I understand.
Yeah.
It's just not my deal no more, bro.
I can't have someone coming over my house for a barbecue and hanging out with my old lady, and if my kids are here, whatever, who's packing a gun and got some guy that worried about some guy from another trip trying to shoot them, or they're dodging the cops. I can't have that at my house. Or if I run into them on the street somewhere, like, hey, what's up? I'm not going to diss them, but I'm not going to embrace fully, arms around them, come on and hang out. I mean, I'm over that shit. Like you said, your family member had a lick and you had to turn away. That's kind of where I'm at, man. I mean, I've had some shitty jobs since I've been out. And
I had to turn away to a damn sub shop.
Guys on my channel have said, hey, the new gangster is having a 9-to-5 and busting your ass.
Hell yeah.
That's the new gangster, really,
Yeah.
Especially when you think, all these assholes are, to me, not a lot of the guys get involved with criminal activity now. They run at full blast, balls out, like they don't care.
Yeah.
And really, they don't care because they got an end game. Their end game is if they get busted, they're going to tell.
Yeah.
So that's their end game. So that's another reason
it is.
I can't be a part of any of that shit. It's just, it's not my gig anymore. But people that still want to go that route, I don't slam on them. I mean, they're going to do what they're going to do. But my family now and my friends are, but they say family first, and that's kind of what, and my family was there for me when I was in prison. So I'm here for them now, That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
So, years ago,
you get visits when you're in the pen, like from anybody, family.
Yeah. I was so far away. I kind of told my parents just, come once in a blue moon, but, my first and second bed. Of course, I had my wife in my second bed, but the first bed, I had a girl that was, take care of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as parents go,
Did
they didn't come too often.
your wife come see you on your second bed?
Oh yeah, she came all the time. I always thought about them first. I've always been that kind of guy to think about that person first. I don't know why, it's just how I am. So if I was 6 hours away, I'm not going to even ask her. I'm like, look, even if I don't get transferred for another year, now maybe if I'm doing, 10, 20 and at the same prison, then yeah, they're going to have to come, probably once a year or something, but that's how it is, man. I try to always think about them first.
Yeah.
But when I'm in prison though, man, I'm sure y'all got to think like this, man. When I'm in prison, a lot of the family and stuff, it's not even really in my mind, man. You know what I mean? I know they're taken care of. I know they're handled, but really my mind's in prison. I'm trying to survive that shit, man.
Yeah.
But the love's there, though. The love and the wanting to be there is there for sure, but.
So, did you get visits, Whack, at all?
Yeah, so I had girls, you know what I mean, through my little 7 years that I would write and whatever, and they'd come see me, and then, you get to that point where it's like, you get in that, I don't know about you guys, but you get in that penitentiary mind of like, man, I ain't falling in love with no broad, you know what I mean? I'm good. Like, just send me money orders, you know what I mean? If the envelope ain't got a stamp of a money order on the back, it's a fire hazard in my cell, you know what I mean? And so, and then another cool story, and I think I told you this, Mitch, and me and Josh never got around to it, but I'm going to tell it on his channel too when we hook up again. But my foster mom found me. I was in my last 2 years of my sentence, and it was right before Christmas. And I remember me and the homie, I was in the cell with the homie E-Dog from A-Trade Gangsters, and we got escorted to the shower. We were in Lancaster, matter of fact, Mitch.
Yeah.
And we got escorted to the showers, and it just so happened they were passing out mail. So, I'm like, my cellie's behind me, he's showering, so I'm standing there against the grill gate of the shower, and I watch him go into my cell, and he puts mail on our bed and shit. Bam. So I'm like, oh shit, I'll tell the homie, I'm like, oh shit, cuz somebody got some mail. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's pleasant. So we get back to the cell, and it's some mail. It's like a couple of envelopes for him, and then there was a envelope for me for some female that I was writing, but it was like nothing. But then there was a Christmas card, and I looked at the Christmas card. It had my name on it, but then I didn't recognize the name on the return address, right? And I'm like, man, who is this? So I open up the card, and in the card, like, she had written on both sides of the card, and then she had continued and she wrote like a 6-page letter.
Yeah.
And it turned out it was my foster mom, right?
Wow.
And she had found me through my dad. She finally got a hold of my dad, and my dad gave her she called and was like, I'd like to speak to James. And my dad was like, he's not here. He's in fucking prison. And she just straight out, not even knowing who my dad was talking to, or and that's just my dad. He's not fucking here. He's in fucking prison. And she was like, okay, well, can I get his address? And my dad didn't even ask who he was giving this information out to. He just freely gave it out, right? And so she got the address and she wrote me, and so she was living in Texas. She moved back to Texas, and she had gotten a divorce from the Marine that she was married to when I stayed with them as a foster kid, right? And so after the divorce, she had moved back to Texas. Well, in that letter, I guess, so when she found out, I'll make a long story short, when she found out I was in prison, she called the prison. She was hounding, how can I send them money? Can I send them packages? Can I send them food? can I come visit him? And they were like, well, these are the steps you have to go to. And he can't get any packages because he's an AdSeg, blah, 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 blah. And this, and that. And so she hurried up and sent it. She said, hurry up and get them visiting forms so I can come see you. So she flew out from Texas to come see me in Lancaster.
Wow.
And
that's quite a trip.
Yeah. So she came out a couple times.
Quite a ways to travel.
Yeah, and so those were the visits that really stuck out to me, because it seemed like every time that she would come out and see me, I was either in the hole or we were on lockdown. And so when we were on lockdown in High Desert, the visits had they were behind the glass. So
yeah,
obviously
I spent a lot of time in prison, so I mean I got a lot of visits. And in the beginning, my grandmother used to come see me in San Quentin. I was in the SHU unit, and they have the glass, and it's a little block wall, the gate, and I go in there and I'm shackled at the waist. They got to take the cuffs off, and my little grandmother's sitting there looking, and then I got to talk to her on the phone. I seen pictures of my grandmother and my great aunt and uncle coming to California from Idaho in a buckboard wagon. I mean, she's
wow.
And then here she is going to prison to see her grandson in prison. It just but I mean, we'd sit there and have a normal conversation, over the phone, and so those visits meant a lot to me. And my mom came to see me quite a bit, but those are kind of a struggle to get through some of those visits. But once I met my wife and we have daughter and stuff, it was those visits meant a lot, a lot.
Yeah.
And like we would have family visits, and like most of them are San Quentin had 72-hour family visits. Everywhere else there were 48 hours, and you go out there. And back in the early days, I would send money home for the food, and she'd bring in, a laundry list of food, man, that I wanted to make or eat or whatever, and like I used to get this juice. It was like banana, pineapple, orange, passion fruit juice. I had to have that.
Jesus, that's a combination.
Time, I was like, I gotta have it, But, it was like a vacation from hell, man.
Yeah.
I'd go out to an apartment with your wife and kid, and every third visit we would bring the kid. That was her visit. But after that visit was over, I had to strip out, piss in a bottle. She had to leave.
Back to the shit show.
I'd lay there in bed, and sometimes I'd lay in my cell, and smoke a joint, and I'd be like, man, it was a catch-22, because those 2 days are really special, and you get closer with your family, but then you got to leave and go back into that fucking madness of prison, and then you got guys that are upset because, I'd come back off a visit and they'd be on my door. Hey man, you got anything? Cause everybody, they think you're hitting dope off your visit. I'd tell them, hey lame, I don't get visits so I can go out there and get dope for you. I go out there to be with my family. A lot of them dudes got no family. They fucked over their families, and they don't get that concept. So they would get pissed off at you. And a lot of guys would get upset or jealous or envious, cause you have a family coming to see you and they don't. And
yeah,
it was,
it's crazy. The envy.
Visits were hard, man. They were, but they meant a lot. And if you're stuck in prison with no family, I think that's where you get a lot of the guys that get involved in the madness.
Yeah.
The serious madness. I think their families have pretty much cut them loose, or they fuck their families over so they don't have any contact, and
nothing to lose.
That's where a lot of that comes from. There's no one's concerned about them showing, affection or love. And even as a grown man, everybody likes that. And
Hey, I got a funny story that I always remember from visitation, man. It kind of goes with Father's Day.
That's right.
Well, my kids, I had twins at the time. I didn't have any other kids. And my wife would bring her. I was at this prison called St. Bride's. And it was really close to home, probably 20 minutes from our house. It was unbelievable that I made it to a level 2 prison there. and it was wonderful. So they came all the time, and I think they were 2 years old. The twins, they were enough to run, because they ran into someone's table that had their burgers, their hot dogs from the vending machine, the little snacks and stuff.
Oh,
no. He tripped into their freaking thing, and the food went everywhere, man. And I could tell that guy was mad, and I don't think he had any more quarters. So we looked out, gave him half the quarters I had, you know what I mean? So he could get his stuff back. But I'll never forget, everyone's laughing, and my kid just destroyed his freaking VI, man, So I'll never forget that moment, But and at that moment, my kids thought it was a Skittle factory because all them vending machines,
Yeah.
Right.
Now they know it's prison, though.
Yeah, we used to tell our daughter that I was at work,
Yeah.
And how come you can't come home with us? I said, well, I'm at work, And then when she was, I think 6, she came up to me and she had her hands on her hips. She goes, you're not at work. And I go, what do you mean? She goes, you're not at work. You told me you were at work, And I go, well, where am I? She goes, you're in prison.
Wow.
I go, who told you that? And she pointed, that girl over there, she used to run around with this guy's looking on. I was like, yeah, that's when I had to come clean, But yeah, it was.
I can only imagine you coming back from the family visits, though, Mitch, because I would get a visit, just a regular visit, right?
Yeah.
And after, 2 hours or whatever, however long the visit was, and I'd get back to my cell, and I'd be depressed as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
But I can only imagine going out there for 2 days, bro, and having to come back to the motherfucking, as Death said, the shit show.
Yeah, you want to go home with them, I mean, that's what you want. You want to go home with them. But
yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Hey, what about have y'all ever called someone that you really need to talk to and they ain't answer?
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
That's the worst, man. That's the worst. I called my wife one time, man. I was in the hall. Called her. I got one call, one shot, man, And I'm like, damn, I don't know when I'm going to get this again because it's packed in there. And damn, she missed the call, man. I was so messed up.
And nowadays, you sign up for the phone, man, and it's like
you'd be lucky.
Out here, you get a 15-minute phone call, and that phone list might not come back around for 2 or 3 days. But
yeah,
back in the day, like at Tracy, they had orientation and L1, L-wing on the first tier was orientation. They had a phone in there, and that was before they had all this GTL stuff. You dialed the operator, and the operator put you through it for collect call. And I knew the cop in there. I'd be like, hey man, I need a phone call. He'd be like, come on in, and I'd get on the phone and talk for like a half hour, 45 minutes. So
wow,
that's
she's
good.
like, hey, my phone bill was whoop, I was like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
So that was, yeah.
I gotta keep on realizing too. Nowadays, everyone got a damn cell phone. It's like they can just blow it up.
Yeah, for real.
They can just blow it up. But yeah, that's crazy, man. You ever do? Hey, Mitch, you ever do? I know you were into art. Someone had to have asked you to do some Father's Day gifts for him, man.
What now?
Has anyone ever asked you to do Father's Day gifts for him in prison, being that you do all that artwork?
No, I used to do Mother's Day stuff, though, and birthdays for kids. Guys would come and ask me, hey, man, it's Mother's Day. You got any greeting cards? Or, a lot of guys would ask me to do portraits of their family members. And I used to do them in pencil. I didn't like painting them, but I used to do them in pencil. It was kind of a hustle anyway. So, I charged them like $50 a head to do them, But guys like to send back in the day I did woodwork too in the hobby, and so I'd make jewelry boxes for guys, to give their wives or their daughters. Guys made leather purses. I sent a few leather purses home.
Not too many inquiries on Father's Day, huh?
Nah, because all the fathers are in prison,
They're all right next door. What's up, Dad?
Yeah. Hey, your wife told me to
bro.
Yeah, he's in D block. Just a couple feet away. Just a couple feet away.
Where'd this come from? Oh, I got hooked up with your wife, and she asked me to do this for you. You know,
Right?
gotta be stabbing you in the morning. What are you doing, with my wife? You know.
Oh shit.
Hey,
Yeah.
I got a question for both you guys. Have you guys ever ran into a father-son combo on a yard?
Yeah.
Nope.
I did one time, and it was so like it was
In my
just
state, they keep
awkward to
family
me,
members
bro.
separated.
Oh, they do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
do they
I
do
don't-
that for down there?
No, not really. No.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're cousins and they know that you're cousins, they'll separate your
Bro,
ass.
I was on the yard.
Wow.
It was 4 brothers, bro. I was on the yard with 4 brothers.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
cool. It's bad, but it's cool. You know.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so,
Yeah. I seen some Chicano dudes came out of Pelican Bay down to Donovan, father and son, and the
Wow.
father's since died, I guess. You know, but yeah.
yeah, I seen one. It was like awkward. Just, I mean, they weren't awkward. It was just, I was trying to imagine my dad in there, you know, and I was just imagining like the woods saying, "Hey, don't go talk to that dude. He's a fucking white crib." And I hear my dad, "What? That's my motherfucking son."
Ah, shit. Yeah. What would you do, man? You know.
Yeah,
What would you do? Yeah.
hey, that's my celly, bro. And if anybody got any problems, we're going to war, dog.
I like that. That'd be a crazy situation, though. You know.
Right?
Yeah.
That's wild. I
Yeah,
never
you
even
know,
thought about that.
In Tracy, they have wings, you know. So like they got the wing, it's visiting, and the administration. In between, they have a grass, and they used to have a swing set out there. And
Wow.
I'd be out there with my daughter playing on the swing, you know. And then one time I was at work, and this guy goes, "Hey man, I saw you out there on the swings in the visiting room." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "What's up with that?" Like all hard ass, like, "What's up with that?" And I said, "Hey motherfucker, I'm out there playing with my kid, you know." And I said, "You got a fucking problem with that or what?" Oh no, you know, right? You know, first you want to make it like I'm some kind of creep, you know, playing on the swing set. I'm like, "Hey motherfucker, I'm out there with my daughter, you fucking punk," you know what I mean?
That's crazy, man.
But you know, they have organization called Friends Outside in California.
Yeah.
If you have that in where you were at, Josh, but
Friends
they have
Outside?
a house out by the prison entrance, and like in Tracy, they had a dog. They got, you know, toys and, you know, all that kind of stuff and videos, and they give them little snacks and all that. So if you go outside on the patio in Tracy, you have to leave early. They make the patio leave a couple hours before visiting ends. So they bring all the kids back right before the patio closes, you know, and our daughter's like 5, man, and we're like, "Yeah, it's time to go, honey," and she's just like, "Nah, do a fit," you know, and she was just running all around the whole grass, and she was yelling, "Mommy, get Snuggles! I don't ever get Snuggles," you know. You know, so I grabbed her, man, and, you know, but, you know, those kind of things stand out in my mind, you know, and those were the times that being a husband and a father really meant something, man, and it you know, it warms your heart up, you know, and it keeps you human, you know.
Yeah. It does, man. You know, it gives, you know, my kids give me purpose. I mean, that's like my only purpose now. It's just because you got to think about, like, who's really going to talk about you or think about you so much when you're dead? You know what I mean? It's like your family, you know? So,
yeah, even when you're alive, you know?
Yeah, that too, you know, but, you know, it sucks, man, loving family so much, knowing that one of these days we will be separated, man. And that's one thing I battle with every damn day. Every day, y'all.
No, you know,
knowing that it's one of these days I'm gonna be separated from my loved ones, you know.
And you know what? You
got a ways to go.
You got a lot of heart to say.
I hope, man.
You got a lot of heart to say that, because a lot of us, I think, battle with our mortality too, you know, and it's not something that people talk about. But I always say this: I'm not scared of dying. I just don't want to see my family have to go through that, you know, and that's what bothers me the most, you know. I mean, I want to see what's after this. You know, I want to see if everything that I've been taught and grew up believing was true, if it's really true, you know, and
Yeah, well, you know, that's a whole nother subject, you
that's a
know.
whole other subject, but, you know, it's just, yeah.
We're all going to get there. I'm just not in a hurry, you know.
Yeah, don't run to your death, you know. And
Yeah, I'm not afraid of it, and I'm not in a hurry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I am though, man. When I love something so much, I think about that. You know what I mean? It's like every day I look at my dad like, okay, this could be my last time. You know what I mean? And someone told me that. He said, you know what? It's actually my good friend Randy. Lives down the street from me, believe it or not. I used to shoot pool with him every night, pool tournaments, and he said, man, cherish your money. You never know, man. You know, he sat there and told me, he said, there'd be police. He said
I didn't do it.
There'd be $1 million I could give away right now. There ain't no price to just be with my dad one more time. You know, just
Man.
you know what I mean? And that could be for any loved one, you know. So cherish your moments, ladies and gentlemen. We gotta cherish these moments, man. Enjoy our freedom and our loved ones, man, before it is too late. And it will be too late later.
You know, like when I was in Corcoran, you know, my wife brought the daughter up and she's like, hey, and we were kind of on bad terms at the time, but she brought her up and said, hey, you know what? She's messing up, smoking weed, hanging out with a bad crowd and all that kind of stuff. And you know, I had a talk with her, and I didn't pull any punches. I just talked to her the same way I would talk to you, you know, and she was 13, I think. And about a month or two later, you know, my wife told me, hey, I don't know what you told her, but she quit fucking smoking weed. She quit hanging out with this bad crew of people. And from that time on, I used to ride her all the time. But she went through school, graduated high school, got her AA degree or BA, or, you know, and then she went and got a master's in teaching. She's a school teacher. But, you know, it's a long story. But I mean, she wrote me when she was getting her master's, and she said, you know, you really inspired me to do this. And she goes, I'm going to finish this. She goes, I'm not going to take a break, because if I take a break, I won't come back and finish. So she went on to get her master's degree. But to tell me that, you know, that I inspired her to do that, and to know that my influence helped her, you know, go on and become a better person, man, was, you know. And I let my boss read that letter, and my boss was you know, Chicano woman, grew up in the ghetto in San Diego, and she goes, you know, how many guys can say that? You know, she goes, you're in prison. How many guys on the street can say this? You know?
Yeah.
So I mean that, and you know, when I had that talk with her about smoking dope and drinking and shit, I was selling dope. And I was snorting dope and smoking weed and drinking and partying, and I went back to the pad, man, and about, you know, a month or two later, that's when I quit. I thought, man, you know, even if I don't get out, you know, I'm fucking up. So I had to take my own advice that I gave her, you know, and I quit using. So, you know,
that's
she
good,
was
man.
an inspiration for me to better myself as well. And yeah, that was quite an experience, man.
Yeah. And Mitch, man, you got that personality too, man, that people actually listen. You know what I mean? You know, they ain't just sitting there going in one ear and out the other like some people, but some people have that power, man, to really suck you in and you listen and you take something from it. I think you got that that light, you know what I mean, man?
I like to listen to people too, you know. So.
Yeah, but some people, man, they just got that, you know, that fatherly leadership type of, you know, vibe, man. And you know, it is what it is, man. That's what I sense from you.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? I listen to you. So, like a tractor beam, you know? It sucks me right in, dude.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, all of us got kids, you know, and so we're responsible for their, you know, of course our daughter's grown, but we got 2 grandkids now. But I mean, we're responsible for how they turn out as adults, you know, and that's a heavy deal. And to have that responsibility while you're in prison, it's quite a deal, man. It's pretty heavy.
10 times worse than it is out here, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it weighs on you.
And girls are something special too, man. To the dads, boy.
Yeah.
You know, I ain't got no son, but I tell you what, I know it's got to be totally different. You know, them girls are something else. You know, daddy's girls, boy.
What was that hashtag that was going around when Kobe died? Girl's dad, or
yeah. There's a few, man. But there's that personal relationship, man, that you just get with your daughter that you can't get with a son.
Because they say that the first man that a girl falls in love with is her dad, and she spends the rest of her life trying to
find that image. Yeah, and I see that. I've seen that, man, throughout just other relationships and stuff, and then seeing their dad or whatever. I'm like, explain. Like my wife's dad is tattooed, went to the same prison I went to. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to him. He passed away not too long ago with cancer, man. But
sorry to hear that.
Yeah. We went to the same prison. He's tatted up from head to toe. I actually went to a tattoo shop, and I was about to become a tattoo artist under him. But I went back to prison, and it kind of just went like that. But we're kind of just alike, and that it co-signs what you're saying, Wack. I believe that is very true. They definitely look for qualities like their father. You know what I mean? And that makes you wonder, do they look for the bad qualities too? Is it embedded with them to find that guy that, hey, daddy smoke weed, I need me a weed smoker too. That's how I always think about.
Yeah. Well, they say boys gravitate towards their mothers and girls gravitate tours their dads, as they grow up.
Yeah, I think it's a nature thing,
Yeah. It's wild, man. I'll tell you what, I'm enjoying this, though. This is a good little chat, y'all.
Oh, yeah, man. Once you can get 3 dudes that's on here, not for the glitz and glamour and the fame and whatever else you want to institute with this little YouTube genre that we're a part of. And like I said, Josh, you're the godfather, bro. So
hey, I call it.
You're humble, man, and that's what I think that's what draws people to you, is that you're humble and you're not against sharing the light, and sharing the spotlight. If so,
ever since I started blowing up, I said, and of course, when I ran out of stories, I said, I want other people to shine too, man. Y'all can do it. I've been preaching since, I got my open window myself. I want other people to
do it. What about that running out of stories thing? How long did that take?
It took a while, man. Sometimes, I ain't gonna lie, I would sit there at night, because my memory's shot, Mitch. I'm talking about it is bad. I'll forget I'll forget everything. And, a lot of people, they remember infraction numbers, codes, COs names, cell blocks, all that stuff. Honestly, I can't remember hardly anything. It was almost like a bad nightmare, There's few things, stories and stuff, but names, numbers, I don't remember. But
yeah, I
would sit there at night sometimes, because I'm fresh to YouTube. All I'm doing is telling my stories and how to survive prison for what I've seen.
Yeah.
But, I ran out. So I'm sitting in bed for 4 hours like, God, I know there's something crazy else I've done in that prison of all them years. I've done a lot of crazy shit. And then, one day I was like, man, I'm tired of thinking. I'm tired of trying to figure it out. So, I had to move on. That's one thing a YouTuber, if you want to make it long run, you're gonna have to try to figure out something to bring some content to these people. To be long run, you can't just do the same thing over and over.
The wife tells me, man, you need to make another video. I'm like, all right,
she's getting you going, man. That's what you need, man. I had like the opposite. When I first started, my wife's like, you need to stop. You need to stop this YouTube. It ain't doing nothing. I'm like, it's going to. I swear it's going to one day. And then boom. And then there it was. And that's how it is, man. I feel like if you work for it, I think if you bring good content, you work for it, and it's positive, I think you will grow. You know what I mean? You keep with it. That's how I think.
Yeah.
And see, my thing was, I never intended to do it, but I got this guy right here named Mitch and his beautiful wife, Adrian, and all their heart-intentioned family. It was like,
got a big family, my friend.
When are you going to make your channel?
Yeah,
we're waiting on the channel. Yeah. I'm like, all right, man.
But now we're all connected like one big family,
Oh, yeah. Most definitely, man.
You
know what?
I got to thank Josh for getting me going,
Yeah. And
anytime, my friend.
And one of the good things about it is that you don't know, well, I can speak for myself. I don't know that maybe me going through what I went through and me telling that story, it could help somebody out. It could deter somebody from walking through that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, I got a letter. You know, I'm coming up for my review to get off parole, so I asked people to send letters to my email that I could forward to my parole officer to help, you know, my hearing to get off parole. And we got a letter from a woman who said that, you know, she never watched my channel or anything, and her son got out of prison after doing, you know, a bit of time, and she couldn't understand how he was, you know. I mean, prison changes you, especially when you're still a young man. And he told her to watch my channel, and she was just thanking me, and just, you know, and it helped her to understand what her son was going through coming back to the world and what he went through in prison. And you know, that's something I never imagined would happen. And so I mean, that's a blessing, man, for me to be able to, you know, I just, any of the help that we get to people who watch our stuff, to me, is a blessing, man, because that, you know, if you can make the, you know, the country a little bit better, one person at a time, that's how it works, right? That's how it starts.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And, you know, see, this was when I was growing up, man, and I'm still young as hell, you know, I'm only going to 33, you know, but.
Woo, I wish I could be 30.
Yeah. But look, I've noticed that, you know, when people are going through, damn, I had a way I was going to deliver this, man. I had a way I was going to deliver it, but I forget it now. See what I'm talking about? I forget everything, man. I forget my own damn shoes. I'll let you know if it comes back to me, man. I'll let y'all know if it comes back. It'll pop in there soon, man. So if I say, hey.
In California, you have a lot of dads in prison, and you know, 14 guys have died in Chino prison from COVID. Chuckawalla, they call it Chucky's house. They have 1,000 cases of COVID out of 2,500 inmates. San Quentin has 120 guys with it, outbreak of COVID. I don't know about other prisons. I talked to a friend of mine the other day. He's in San Luis Obispo and dorm living, and he said they brought some guys in from another prison, because California transfers guys around all the time. You got to remember, California has a whole crew of prison guards. All they do is transfers. They work on the buses. They don't work in the prisons. They used to work in the pen. They go on transportation. They got a whole fleet of buses. So those guys got to keep their jobs. So they're constantly transporting guys from prison to prison. So they've been transporting guys to other prisons during this COVID outbreak, and they're spreading the COVID virus from prison to prison, and guys are dying from it. So, you know, to all the families out there who have fathers in prison, man, I just, man, you know, my heart goes out to you guys, you know.
Yeah, the scary thing is too, man, is, you know, some of these people, they don't show no symptoms, you know, and they could spread it to everyone. You don't know. You know? So that's with all colds and stuff. You can't see this. It's invisible, man. We can't see it. So that's what makes it so scary, you know. And that shit can spread fast, man. Especially something in the prison system. You know how them colds go around and lock up. Oh my God!
I was telling Ryan, man. You know, you got a unit like North Block in San Quentin has 840 people. And they had the norovirus go around there a couple times when I was there. I got it. I had it. But, I mean, it went from just a couple people to probably 2/3 of the building, 840 guys. They were, you know, puking and shitting on themselves. They all got the norovirus.
Yeah.
And after a couple days, they locked the building down, and guys were still getting it. So just imagine with this how fast this shit spreads, you know. So.
Yeah. That recycled air. You got recycled air in those prisons or jails mainly, but recycled air. Yeah, like in jails, they got those big recycled air. They recycle air.
You guys got recycled air in your jail?
Yeah, they just keep refunneling the same air, man. You know,
man, they must have really loved you guys.
Hey, it was nice. It was dirty.
I've been in prisons in California, they got no air.
Oh yeah, well yeah, in the prison
all.
yeah, they have prisons where they ain't got no AC or nothing at all. You're just sitting there, and but like in
AC.
jail, yeah,
AC. Wow. You
Yeah.
guys got AC out there in some of your prisons?
they do now. Shoot.
Wow.
That was the
Tell 'em
worst
why.
That was the worst thing, man. From Greensville, they didn't have no AC. I was in there. Damn
Shit,
walls
them,
sweat.
them walls used to sweat, bro.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what I
You take a
mean?
shower and you won't even dry off. You just walk
Yeah.
straight to the bunk and lay there.
You could we used to do it. We used to wet our blue shirts on the yard at the showers, walk one lap, and by the
Yep.
time you got back to where the shower is, your blue
Yeah.
shirt was dry like it came out of the dryer.
Yeah.
Were
Thank
y'all able
God
to
for-
get ice at all?
No.
No ice
no.
machines?
Hell, ice machine.
Ah,
Wow.
don't beat me up. Don't beat me up.
Man, you guys are pampered.
Wow.
Look, funny story. This is in Greensville, all right? We had no AC. There's no AC.
Ice machines, man.
Listen. There's no AC. It's blazing hot. Now they got AC, but they had an ice machine down at bottom tier, and this was a level 3-4 violent prison, lifers in there. But they had an ice machine, and I'll never forget this Looney Tune fool. We were coming off the yard after a softball game. Everyone's looking forward to getting their cup of ice. There's someone butt naked in the ice machine because they have this lid that the trustees got to come and fill the thing with ice. He popped the lid and sat in the whole damn thing ass naked.
Oh, wow.
He would have got killed, bro.
Yeah, he did
Yeah.
get killed, but damn, he got lucky, man. You know
Somebody
what I
would
mean?
stab that guy out here.
He was loony, man. He was
Yeah.
crazy.
You know why
as soon as
they
he came in the
don't?
block?
You know why they don't have them ice machines in Cali is because they would have to have more than one because the
Yeah.
whites wouldn't use the same one as the blacks.
Yeah.
The Southern Mexicans wouldn't use the same one as the blacks, and
Yeah.
so
See, that's so
you would
wild,
have to
man.
have at least 3 different ice machines.
That's wild, but at the same time,
Oh.
man, I truly see the concept, man. You know what I mean? I really do, because prisons I've seen, they're all out of order, man. You know, and you just
Yeah.
hoping and praying you ain't gonna get raped or robbed, you know. So
See, and we're talking about this is a whole nother topic than
yeah.
But I was talking to a dude the other day, and he was telling me about Florida, and it just blew my mind, right? And I told him, I said, look, the only thing that it would take for like a state like that would be 4 or 5 of these dudes from Cali that are prison gang members to go out there. And all they would do would they would just fucking start killing
Structure.
motherfuckers.
Yeah, they should
They would start-
structure that shit.
They would just start killing motherfuckers, right?
Yeah.
And then a year or two later, people look at Cali like the segregation is bad, right? But the segregation was set up to prevent a dude jumping asshole naked into the fucking ice machine.
Yeah.
That's why I said I understand the
You know what I mean?
concept. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So, and so, I mean, it's stupid. It's fucking, it's old fucking prehistoric way of thinking. But in reality, it's that saying, order out of chaos. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I mean,
But also
it is
keeps
what it
guys
is.
from getting preyed on, and
Right. You know?
That too. Yeah.
I mean,
Pros and cons to both, I guess you could say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely pros and cons to both.
you know, if
I
they-
just couldn't believe. Did y'all have any clue before seeing stuff on YouTube and stuff? Did y'all have any clue that was like down the East Coast?
Fuck
Yeah.
no.
I
See,
heard
that's
about
how
it.
I was. I was completely shocked, man.
I
That,
heard about it when I was in prison.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I used to meet guys from other states, and I asked them what's going on. And then I met guys from California that did time in like Michigan and New York and stuff. They're like, man, fuck that. And, yeah.
I mean, were they feeling like the California way was a better way?
I know one dude was in prison in Michigan, and he stabbed somebody straight away. He wasn't having it,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't agree with some of the stuff that goes on, but it keeps order, it keeps order.
Yeah.
And you know, if you think you're standing on your own and nobody's gonna back your play, if some group of fucking assholes want to come and jump on you, especially like if they're from another race and they're just gonna come jump you, beat you down, take your shit, no one's gonna help you. That's a pretty fucked up way of thinking. Because in my logic, if I'm out there and that happens to me, well, I'm gonna go make a knife and I'm gonna go stab every one of them motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll show them how we do it in California.
Yeah.
You know, but having racially segregated shit like that, it prevents that from happening. But don't misinterpret it, because when it comes to college programs, religious programs, vocational training, when you go to work and you got to work around other races, there's no like, well, you work there and I work here. I mean, people get along. It's just on the yard to hang out with their own. There's no, you know, there's certain things you just don't do with other races. But I mean, there's guys out here that are black dudes that I knew in prison that I'm friends with. And I was telling my old lady the other day, I said, look, man, all these Black Lives Matter dudes that are white, how many we got them up here? I mean, how many of them even have any black friends? How many of them got black dudes going over the house hanging out? Probably none of them. I know black dudes in prison that I was friends with in prison, in a place where, I mean, we still maintained the boundaries. We didn't break the rules and all that shit, but we're friends. And we became friends in a place where opposite races usually don't even communicate all that well. So I mean, you know, it's in a way, prisons could be a fucking learning ground for some of these assholes out here, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And me and Mitch we've got the question a couple times is, hey, since you and Mitch are friends now, and if you guys ever ended up back in prison, would you guys talk to each other on the yard? Like, hell yeah. I'll be like, what's up? That's my homeboy. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that I'm gonna go hit laps with him and eat ice cream with him, or I mean, I could if I wanted to, but that's just not. When you're in Rome, you do as the Romans do.
Yeah.
For the sake of not peace, but for the sake of some kind of order, to where, like Mitch said, you're not going to canteen and then you got a group of 5 other dudes from a different race waiting for you to leave that canteen window so they can fucking rock put some rock sock and take your shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Excuse me.
Well,
So, you know, I'm glad that I met Mitch, and I consider him one of my good friends. You know what I mean? And, you know, we talk about prison, but we talk about everything, bro. I mean, you know, we've talked about politics, and some things we agree on, some things we don't. But we know how to maneuver and act as man.
Respect, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the bottom line right there. If you act like a man, you're going to be treated like a man. You know, I'm going to have an interview coming up here pretty soon with a friend of mine. I mean, he's a black dude. He was a mentor in a program I was in. And, you know, when I was going through the group process, he was the mentor, which is like an assistant counselor, you know. And after the group, man, he comes up to me and goes, hey, man, you're just a white version of me, you know. And we laughed and shit, you know. Well, he's out now. And but when we're in there, you know, we're both fathers. Speaking of Father's Day, right? And he'd be like, hey, how's your mom? How's you know, vice versa. Talk about our families with each other. And like Wax said, that don't mean we're going to go eat ice cream together. And if we wanted to, we could have. You know, I would have had some aftermath to deal with. But bottom line is, you know, we became friends in there because we both lived through an adverse situation. He was a lifer. He actually had life without possibility of parole, but now he's on the street. So, I mean, we went through an adverse situation together. We helped each other out. He helped me get out of prison. I mean, so how could you not like somebody like that? You know, like I said, he's a father and a husband, and so am I. So, I mean, you know, there's some commonality in there, even though there's separation in California prisons. It's not, you know, it doesn't mean you don't connect with other people on some level, you know, even in the level 4 asshole prisons, you know.
Yeah.
Most
I
definitely.
believe that. Yeah.
And just because people choose to segregate themselves doesn't mean that they're racist. You know what I mean? Like, um, people have their views. People have their uh, opinions about everything, and we're not all going to agree on it. You know, but I think what Mitch said, he said it a couple times to me in our talks about this whole little unfortunate situation with the police brutality and all that. And I think all three of us are familiar with police brutality, and we won't get into that. But he said something about just because how did you say it, Mitch? Because you're proud of who you are and where you came from doesn't mean that it's so big that you can't let the next man be proud of what he's proud of, right?
I don't have to destroy another man's pride and love for what he is and his history and his culture. I don't have to destroy his to feel good about mine, you know?
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if people could really sit back and break that down and chew on that, I haven't heard a saying that's more meaningful to a situation before other than that. You know, I don't have to tear you down believing in what I believe in. I have room enough for you to be proud of what you are and where you came from as well.
And,
you know, man, that's deep.
The bottom line is, you know, there's a lot of people right now that, I mean, I saw a black dude on YouTube or Facebook. He was these other black dudes, they got fuck America and all this stuff. He goes, well, where do you want to go? What other country would you like to go to? He goes, I love America. You know, so where would you like to go? And they didn't have any answer, you know. Bottom line is we're all Americans. We all live in this fucking country and we all have families and a lot of us are fathers. Father's Day's coming up, right? So back to our theme here. A lot of us are fathers and we have kids and we don't want to see them grow up in a shitty fucking world. I think we can all agree, man, that there's things in the country that aren't right. That doesn't mean the guys in the past that did it, they're not running shit anymore. And it doesn't mean you have to destroy the fucking country to get a point across. You know, and you know, just because I disagree with somebody doesn't mean I hate them. And just because they disagree with me and my point of view, it doesn't mean we still can't be friends, you know?
Right.
Wack and I talk a lot, and he says things I don't agree with, and I'll tell him, you know, I don't know if I agree with that, but we're still friends.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, there ain't no, just like prison to east and west, man, it ain't going to be no perfect structure, man. You know what I mean? There's communist countries that are peaceful as hell right now, and, you know, they got their own way of structure, you know, or whatever you want to say. You know, there are peaceful areas in every civilization, but, you know, not anything's perfect, man. Just like us right now. Look at us. I mean, we got two splitting factors in the government right now, pretty much battling all the time with the people too. It's almost like they're sports fans, you know. Dallas and Washington almost. It's what it's like, you know what I mean? So it's like they're picking sides. Everything is picking sides right now, man. You know what I mean? That's what it seems like. So
people need to start picking the humanity side.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's just people just you know, but at the same time
we all gotta live here together, man.
I feel like there's just so many variables at play to get it to this point. I feel like there's just it takes people, and that's another thing. I feel like there's hardly any people on earth nowadays with common sense. So it's like, shit, how the hell is this going to fix? I don't think it will. You know what I mean? Who knows?
Yeah, common sense is kind of in short supply right now.
Oh, my God, Mitch. I'm like, God, am I dealing with another lunatic today? You know what I mean? Is this another lunatic today has no kind of nothing, knows what's going on or nothing?
People think they're going to make their situation better by tearing down my shit. They got another thing coming.
Yeah, I'm over here just trying to, you know, kind of just. That's why I went in the woods the other day. You know, I mean, I can't dwell on I've dwelled on negativity my whole freaking life, man.
I saw that.
I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of it, man.
I saw your posts on Instagram, man. Jumping in the river and stuff.
Oh,
family.
boy. And look, I saw there's a ton of motorcyclers out there. They love it out there on the Blue Ridge Mountains. I don't know if you've taken your bike out there. Have you done Blue Ridge yet?
I can't leave California, bro.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, when you can.
Is that where the Dragon's at?
No, the Dragon.
They got a road called the Dragon, the tail of the Dragon out there somewhere.
It might be. The Blue Ridge Mountains goes all the way to the top of the mountains, man. I'm talking about the top. You know what I mean?
It goes through Tennessee and all that stuff.
Yeah. They got the Appalachian Trail. You could all that stuff, man.
Well, look it up. I think it's called the Tail of the Dragon.
Yeah, tons of bikers out there, man. I mean, that's yeah, they love it out there, man. And they're the nicest people too. I tell you what, man. I have good times with the bikers whenever I go on road trip. I probably shouldn't say this, but I ran out a little reefer not too long ago, and I got some from a biker, my friend. You know what I mean? I said, I'm trying it, Brittany. I'm trying it. You know what I mean? And I went in. I said, look, man, look. I need a little bit. You smoke a little bit? He said, yeah. And look, he pulled up his little, with them saddlebags on the side. He put out a little bit of reefer for me, man. I said, yeah, vacation's back on. Vacation's back on.
So we're gonna get whacking motorcycle here in a minute.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna do it. I just, you know what it is, man, is that I feel like you gotta, like, we've been living in this box, bro. Like, I mean, I don't know about you guys. Well, me and Tom, we've talked a lot, but we've lived in this box for so long that it's time to get out and feel free, bro. Like, that's so I'm like, my homeboy, my Samoan homeboy, dog, like, I used to look up to that. I still look up to him, but I wanted to be him when I was the young homie, and he was, hey, when we talking about cripping, homie, he was smacking. He's a big old Samoan, bro, and he was, I ain't never seen him lose a fight to this day, bro, and he was 15, 16, fighting older homies, 25, 26, fresh out. They were fresh out the joint on swole, and he was getting with their program at like 15, 16, and but he's changed his life. He left the hood and moved to Hawaii just because he had to get away, got his shit together. Now he moved back. He lives in Sacramento. He opened his own fire protection business. He does that on the weekends, and he works full time at Cal Berkeley, the fire protection shit. And he just went and bought a Harley, bro. And he said, Wack, it's the freest I've ever felt, bro. He said, I get on my bike and I just ride. Yeah. And I'm like, man, and then, right around that time, me and Mitch just started becoming cool. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it.
Might be a sign, my friend.
Harley, bro.
Yeah, it's a sign.
You know what I mean?
I take all those little things as signs.
Yeah, you got to get, we got to step out of that box. And I think that's what people need to do, even, to start being comfortable with shit that you're uncomfortable with. Like, I know change is scary because you don't know what's going to happen. But I think that if you're willing to take that step out of that box, out of the norm, and we get used to doing that, shit'll be a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Well,
don't judge nothing until you've tried it.
Yeah.
And now that we're out here in the world, and you guys got younger kids, our daughter's older with kids of her own. You have a responsibility to raise those kids so they grow up and they have some common sense and they can make it in the world, especially if you have daughters. Both you guys got daughters, stepping outside the box sometimes, even if you just look at what's going on from a non-biased perspective, just to understand. I mean, you got to teach your kids that, so how has it been like raising your kids, trying to school them on life? How is that for you guys? I know Wax kids are still kind of young, but how is that for you guys, and how did your prison experience affect your father skills out here in the world?
I think my whole thing with parenting, I guess, has been I wanted to give mine better than I had, and I don't want to put my way of thinking at the forefront. I want, you know what I mean? Like, I want, make up your own mind, you know, feel the way you're going to feel, you know, but this is wrong over here. And this is what society says is right or wrong. So make up your own mind. I'll give you guidance, and I'll set parameters, but somewhere within them parameters, you have to find yourself, you know. And I feel like, and you guys can help me out with this. I feel that if you have them clamped down so tough, not wanting them to experience the bad things that we've experienced, then they're going to be like a dog that's let out of a kennel. As soon as that gate opens, that dog goes crazy.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to like let them learn on their own, but be there to catch them, be there to correct them, be there to wipe off their wipe off their knees and kiss their boo-boos and say, okay, see, this is why this happened.
So you want to give them a little bit of guidance and then let them grow up to be their own individual person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because like we said, common sense isn't common anymore, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if people are gonna just make their kids a mold of them, well, fuck, the world is really in fucking trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let them get out there and let them experience life. But you're there. You're setting parameters, and you're there behind them to catch them if they fall and to pick them up. But don't throw your thoughts and your prejudices, and I'm not talking about just racism. I'm talking about in general. Don't throw them on your kids and have them be what you are because you think you're right. You know, let them live their life and become who they want to become. And if they start messing up, then be there and correct them and say, hey, this is not, this isn't right. So I'm all for hands-on, but hands-off. You know, don't have the leash tighten like you got it on a pit bull and, hold them down, let them, man, give them slack.
And, if you're going to say, hey, this isn't the right way of thinking or acting, then you can explain to them why,
Right.
And then see how they do. Yeah.
How about you, Josh?
I agree 100%, man. My parents were tried to be pretty strict, and then my dad worked nights. As soon as he left to go to work,
you're out of there.
It's game time, my friend.
It's
game time. You can lock me down all day. Nighttime comes around, I'm sneaking out.
You going to work? You going to work tonight, pops?
Yeah, but I'm also a really religious individual too. So I have a lot of religion to mix into my way of structure. And believe it or not, a lot of my structure comes from that religious text or whatever you want to call it. So that's how, kind of how, morally, it's all correct. There's nothing wrong with it. Everything is wisdom. It's all wisdom what I'm teaching. So regardless if it's written religious or not, it's still good wisdom. And, that's how I look at it. That's how I learned a lot of my wisdom. I'm a Christian. I've learned a lot of my wisdom from Proverbs. A lot of people might know that book. I don't know, but it has a lot of wisdom in there.
Proverbs have you shaking your head in the cell if you read it too long.
Josh, there's also a book in there called Wisdom.
Wisdom?
Yeah.
What, Ecclesiastes?
No, it's the Book of Wisdom.
What?
That's what it's called.
Really?
Yeah, but it was Martin Luther took it out, so it might not be in your version of the Bible, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Oh yeah, I know there's all kinds of books that ain't in the Bible, but,
well, they were. Originally.
I never knew there was one called Wisdom, literally.
Yeah, it was there originally, and then it was taken out, it was removed.
I need to look into that. I didn't know that.
Hey, the coldest story in the Bible for me was the Book of Job.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Job is horrible, but you know what?
Oh man.
That story is meant for a purpose, my friend, to give you give you hope.
Yes.
You lose everything.
And lost everything, bro, and still would not curse the name of God, bro.
Yeah, yeah. And
I like the book of Job, but it's being persistent and persevering through tough times.
Tough times.
And then receiving some blessings on the other end. But for our Father's Day discussion, there's a question in the Bible. Which son is better? The one who says his dad tells him to go do something and he says no, and then he goes and does it anyway, does what his father wants. Originally, he tells his father, no, I'm not going to do it. Then he turns around and does it. Or the son who says, okay, I'll go do it, and then he doesn't do it. Which one's better, see?
Well, the son that went and did it, right?
Yeah. So even though he did it with a little bit of
with an attitude,
a little anger, begrudgingly, he went and did it, right? At least he did it.
Yeah.
And we also have the story about the prodigal son, which kind of we all fit into.
A lot of us do, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, us three especially, we were screw ups, went to prison, all that stuff. But when we came home, Dad accepted us back into the house, right? I mean, that story right there was pretty strong.
Yeah.
And to me, it's not just about a father and his son and stuff. It's about it's about life, man. When you're a fuck up and you change your ways, the world will get a lot better for you. So
yeah, man. No.
You just gotta do that.
I'm living proof of that, really.
Yeah. Yeah, we had some good topics today, man.
Yeah. We've been on here for quite a while, so
yeah. Where are we at? 1 hour, 30 minutes. That's a good little stretch right there.
Whack and Death Eye and Bring. You guys want to plug your channels and stuff before we sign off and give some parting thoughts?
Well,
go ahead, Whack.
Mine's Against the Grain, and I just want to say I lost my dad 13 years ago. Worst day of my life.
God bless him.
Yeah.
Thank you. I haven't had a full night's sleep, I don't think, since then, out of feeling guilty, I put my dad through a lot. I've had his door kicked in by the police several times. I put him through hell, and he never turned me away, and I've always said, and I said in his eulogy that I had to give, I didn't want to give it, but they were like, you're his only son, you need to get your ass up there and do it. And I said that if I could be 10% of the dad that he was, then my kids would be all right. And I still say that, and to everybody out there that still has their dad, whether their relationship is rocky or it's solid or whatever, take today, Father's Day, as a day to reach out to him and let him know that you love him, you respect him, and you're thankful for having him in your life. Because like Josh was saying, you never know when that day's going to come where you can't reach out, where you can't pick up that phone and call your dad, where you can't pull up to his house and walk in and see him. And it's an ugly feeling, but it's a part of life. But don't let time rob you of that. Don't let you feeling any kind of way about your dad rob you of that time with him. And with that being said, I thank you, brothers, man, and I appreciate your guys' friendship and look forward to building more of a relationship with you guys, man. And salute to you guys for being the fathers that you are.
Thank you, man. Thank you. My dad, man, he's still with me, and he was probably the picture perfect dad. Always there and uplift me. He was strict, but he was always loving. And he was never into any shit. He was never even close to a street cat individual, you know, Navy military family and religious man, you know, worked his ass off his whole life for pennies. And now he's finally enjoying the fruits of his labor, his hard work, man. So it's an amazing thing to see that. But, you know, there ain't even anything I could say to you know, this kind of message to you, Pops. You know, I love you with all of my heart. There's nothing else I could say to him besides that, you know. He's taught me almost everything I know, you know. If it wasn't him or my mom, it was prison, you know what I mean? And now it's slowly but surely, you know, more people coming to my life. I'm learning from them as well. But, man, I couldn't have asked for a better dad. And, you know, you lost your father, Whack, and Mitch, you know, but I feel like, you know, even though you have lost him, I feel like, damn, you know, at least you got through it, you know, and I'm dreading the day when I'm gonna have to go through that shit, man, and it's gonna kill me. Like I'm right now dealing with some stuff with my dog, you know what I mean? And if I'm, you know, going through this with my dog, I can only imagine what the hell I might not even be able to function when I lose my dad, you know what I mean? So, you know, I love my pops, man, and salute to all the fathers out there. Do what you're doing, man, because you want a son like me to love you when you die, you know, and think about you like this. You know, that's the key, man. Build that legacy, send that legacy on, you know. Yeah, man. Appreciate y'all letting me come on here and kick it with y'all. And happy Father's Day, you know.
Happy Father's Day.
Sure, yes, sir.
You know, like I said, my natural father's, he's a piece of shit, but
yeah,
he's still alive, and, you know, fuck him. But you know, my stepdad was my stepdad raised me, and he's my dad, and you know, he was a drunk, he was a mean fucker, and you know, heavy-handed and abusive. But you know, like I said, in the end, he did show some emotion towards me, and you know, he wrote me a couple letters, and I was a pen that kind of validated that was real shit. And you know, he was just a hard man. He had a hard upbringing, and it was hard for him to show empathy and love. And but I'm glad that he raised me, you know, because my real father split, and he was a piece of shit. And so I learned, you know, hard work ethic and the value of right and wrong, even though I didn't apply those values until later on in life. But you know, learning how to struggle through hard times, man, from him probably helped me get through my prison term. You know, work ethic and all that kind of shit. And so, you know, I just, where he's at now, I mean, he's passed away many years ago, but just, you know, I hope he could look down and I could just, you know, he could see and say, I could say, hey, man, you know, thanks for being there when my natural father wasn't, you know, so. And to all you dads out there, you know, love your kids, and I hope your kids love you. And for all you guys that got fathers in prison, man, you know, just don't forget, man, you know, a greeting card, a letter, photo, phone call, man, trust me, it touches them and it helps them get through the day. So
it goes a long way, man.
Yeah, and I want to thank both you guys for coming on with us today and chatting it up about Father's Day and all our little experiences.
Yep.
And hey, thank you, Mitch.
Yeah, you guys can see me on Hard Intentions, and we got Lockdown 23-1 with Josh, and we got against the Grain.
Yeah,
Whack.
I got a gaming channel now. It's called Mr. Death. Mr. Death.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we know.
Huh? Mr. Death here. Nah.
Right, bro.
But yeah, man, I thoroughly enjoyed this, y'all. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
We know because we got people that watch it.
Ah, don't say that, bitch.
Yeah, we do.
That's the last person
boy.
I got people watching me, man.
Yeah. Hey, thank you guys very much.
Thank y'all, man. Y'all take care, all right?
Yeah, enjoy your Father's Day.
All right, you too, fellas.
Thank you very much,
man.
Bye.
All right,
do it hard.
That was good. That was good.
That's right.